Hello everyone! This video is for all those who are planning to follow along with one of my Photoshop painting tutorials. There are a few basic things to know before starting. The first is my canvas size. Your canvas size is important because this is what will determine the dimensions and pixel quality of your painting. Most of the time I will paint with an 8 by 4.5 inch canvas. This canvas size is easy for my computer to handle while also being a decent quality and dimension to use as a computer desktop background. To open up an 8 by 4.5 inch canvas, simply open up Photoshop and then click on New File. Then type 8 and 4.5 into the dimension boxes. Next, set the measurement to inches and set the resolution to 300. Click Create. This will take you to the Photoshop workspace. To follow my tutorials, go to the Windows tab and make sure the Color, Layers, and Navigator are checked. If they aren't, click on them. This should open up these three tabs, which you can drag over to the side of your workspace. Next, click the four-lined icon in the right corner of your Color tab and change it to Color Wheel. I use this color setting when teaching because it allows people to see or type in the exact percentages of the hue, saturation, and brightness of the colors I'm using if necessary. Then click on the brush tool on the left side of the page and click on the little brush folder in the options bar. This should open up the brush settings. Click on Brushes at the top of the window to open up the Brushes tab as well. Then go to the General Brushes folder and click on the brush named Hard Round Pressure Size. This should be a default brush in Photoshop. If this brush is selected, the shape dynamic should automatically set to pen pressure and smoothing should be turned on. If not, select these options. Then click on the brush tip shape in your brush setting window and set your brush spacing to 15%. 15% spacing will allow your brush to still remain smooth while putting less pressure on your computer when making quick or large strokes. After that, you are finished with the basic setup to follow along with my tutorials. The only other thing you should be aware of is the keyboard shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts are something that can save a lot of time and is something I use for changing the size, hardness, and opacity of my brush, as well as selecting the eyedropper tool, brush tool, and eraser tool. I also use shortcuts to backspace and to flip my canvas horizontally. These 8 functions are essential in my painting process. To decrease your brush size, hit the left bracket key on your keyboard. To increase your brush size, hit the right bracket key on your keyboard. To make your brush softer, hit Shift, then the left bracket. To make your brush harder, hit Shift, then the right bracket. To change the opacity of your brush, type in the desired number quickly on your keyboard. For example, if you want your opacity to be 25%, then press 2 and then 5 in quick succession. Pressing single numbers without any follow-up will add a 0 to the end of them. For example, pressing 1 will change your opacity to 10%. Pressing 3 will turn up your opacity to 30%, and pressing 6 will change your opacity to 60%. The only exception is 0. Pressing this number will turn your opacity up to 100%. The next 3 shortcuts you need to know is the eyedropper tool, brush tool, and eraser tool. To select the eyedropper tool, hit I. To select the brush tool, hit B. And to select the eraser tool, hit E. After you got that down, the last 2 things you need to know is how to backspace and how to flip your canvas horizontally. To backspace, hit Ctrl and then press Z the number of times you want to backspace. To flip your canvas horizontally, you can either do it manually by going to Image, Image Rotation, and then flip your canvas horizontal, or you can set up a custom keyboard shortcut. I would suggest doing the last just because of how much I implement this action in my tutorials. To set up your custom shortcut, go to Edit, Keyboard Shortcuts, Image, then scroll down to Flip Canvas Horizontal and click on it. Then type in the desired key you want to use to perform the action. Click Accept and go to Conflict if this key overrides a shortcut that is already in play that you don't need. Then click Accept and OK. And that's it. Now you are ready to move on to your desired tutorial.